local. It's the world of sports, according to Chris and Ben, exclusively on XTRA Sports 1360.
I know there's a lot of people out there who just don't like the Miami Heat, the way LeBron James kind of put together his superstar team down there. But, you know, many people in San Diego would not have cared too much about the NBA Finals going on right now, except for Kawhi Leonard, who has given a lot of us a rooting interest for the San Antonio Spurs. And he also happens to be, Chris, a nice little walking billboard out there for San Diego State basketball. Any potential recruits that are thinking about where they want to go. And joining us right now is the head coach of the San Diego State men's basketball team. Always a pleasure to welcome Steve Fisher back inside the world of sports on XTRA Sports 1360. Coach, good to talk to you this morning. I'm sure you must be enjoying what Kawhi is doing in the NBA playoffs and here in the finals.
Hello, Ben, Chris, and I, like every Aztec fan, maybe even me a little more so, have been very, very interested and proud of what Kawhi has done for himself. And as you stated, every time they talk about Kawhi, San Diego State is quickly mentioned right after it. So it's been great for us, but most importantly, I'm so happy for Kawhi and what he's done.
I think one of the things that really got me excited, Coach, was to hear Greg Popovich talk about Kawhi Leonard and talk about the fact that Kawhi Leonard, according to Popovich, came to the San Antonio Spurs the way he is, which is a gym rat, which is a kid with a lot, you know, the athleticism, the talent, the ability, the drive, and all of those things to be a great basketball player. Popovich said we really haven't had to do a whole lot with him to turn him into the kind of player that he's become, and I think that's a tribute to you and your staff for getting him ready.
I think that's an NBA coach like Popovich, secure in who he is, without having to say, well, our shot doctor did this and we did that. I think it's Kawhi, and it has always been Kawhi. And you know, you've seen him, both of you. He has been a consummate guy who just worked so hard to continue to develop his game. And he's smart enough to say, okay, these are the areas that I'm not quite as good as I need to be in, and he worked on those the hardest. And he worked on his shooting, and he's gotten significantly better, obviously. But I think Kawhi's work ethic, coupled with his athleticism and intelligence, have allowed him to hit the ground running. And he landed on a perfect team too in San Antonio.
Not that we want to go back and go with ifs and buts, but I can't help but see these long three-pointers that Kawhi has been making at a 40% clip and thinking, boy, if he could have just done that from the college three-point line, pretty sure you guys would have beat UConn and probably rolled on to the national championship a couple of years ago. That was one of the only missing elements from that team.
Well, I don't give that a lot of thought. But, you know, 'cause a lot of people could be saying about the guys they lost,
sure,
and should have. But the reality is, Kawhi is making a name for himself, and the San Antonio Spurs are 2-1 up on the best team going into the tournament, the Miami Heat, and Kawhi's been front and center. Every time you look at LeBron, Kawhi's like his shadow right there in front of him.
Coach Fisher's with us, talking a little bit about Kawhi Leonard, and of course Aztecs getting ready for another great basketball season coming up, and San Diego State right now renewing their season tickets, but fans can be put on a wait list for season tickets. How about that, Coach? You got a wait list now for season tickets, and you can do that by calling the Aztec ticket office, 619-283-SDSU, but of course, the San Diego State basketball program has taken off. How are things going here in the offseason? I know we read the story about LeBradford Franklin, and I don't know that anybody was stunned by that. You know, you can't fit everybody in, but it's been a pretty good offseason for you. I mean, especially with the transfers you got coming in, including Angelo Chol.
We have help on the way. We have 2 freshmen that will be in second session of summer school coming from Sacramento Sheldon High School, and we like both of them. Then we have 2 transfers, one, Josh Davis, who will be eligible immediately, the Tulane transfer, and you're going to like him. And then we have Angelo Chol, who is a local product from Hoover High School that will have to sit out a year after transferring from Arizona. He is also in summer school, so we think help is on the way, and we've got a good nucleus of guys returning even though you look at points, rebounds, and minutes played, we lost a lot of valuable pieces to the success of our program over the last 3 and 4 years. It won't be here. So we're going to need them all to be better, and we're going to need all to play a little bit better than maybe even right now they think they can.
One of those valuable pieces, of course, is Jamal Franklin. I know he had a bit of an ankle issue recently, but everything that I've heard is that his stock continues to rise here as we get closer and closer to the NBA draft. What are you hearing about Jamal now and his draft prospects as we get closer to his big day?
I'm cautiously optimistic that Jamal is going to be there when they start selecting and be there in the first round. I'm hopeful that will happen for him. He's done a great job. He sprained his ankle really badly, thought it was broken, and this is going on a month now. He still is not able to run cuts to play. So that's inhibited him a little bit, but he's gone in. He went to Chicago when they had the draft day there. All he did there was interview, and he did his measurements, and he came out better than most. Most of the time, you list the guy 6'5", he's about 6'3.5", and Jamal measured at 6'5" with a wingspan of 6'11 3/4 that they liked, and I got so many calls on how impressive he was in the one-on-one interviews or the interviews with the different clubs. So I'm equally proud of that fact. And one thing I want to make sure I mention is Jamal, we fashioned the schedule for Jamal with him second semester, thinking that what if he chooses to go? So often these kids, they cut and run when it ends, and they leave the last semester out in the lurch. Jamal finished, and he finished with the best semester that he's had since he's been at San Diego State, right around a 3.2, and he's so proud of that fact. He guarantees me, and Jamal, when he tells you he's going to do something, he does it. He guarantees me that he's going to finish his degree at San Diego State, and he's very proud of what he's done, and we're equally proud of him. And I'm hoping that he will be the next, and what hopefully will be a continued line of guys that get an opportunity to play in the NBA.
And that helped your team keep your APR score, released just a couple of days ago, up enough where you didn't have to worry about NCAA penalties. I know that's something that a coaching staff on the Division I level has to keep a real close eye on nowadays. Just ask UConn.
Everybody's watching. There's no question about that. That's an animal that everybody has to be aware of.
Coach Steve Fisher's with us. Coach, congratulations on the success, obviously, of your team, the Aztecs, and the program. And I know you, like everybody else, is having a lot of fun watching Kawhi Leonard play and star in these NBA Finals. It must make you very proud, and it makes me very proud to be an Aztec to watch Kawhi doing what he's doing, and I know it does you as well. Thanks for joining us. It's always good catching up with you, sir.
You too, gentlemen. I appreciate being on with you, and I will, like a lot of Aztec fans, have a vested interest in tonight's outcome when San Antonio match up again against the Heat. So I'll be watching and cheering for Kawhi.
Thanks, Coach. Have a good weekend.
Appreciate it. There he is, Coach Steve Fisher.